We are tonight at Five Flags Speedway for the Hyper Summer Series here on MRL, racemrl.com. It's season 2 of the Summer Series. My name is Scott Shive. I am joined alongside by Sky Shrek, and of course we have Morgan Cook in production. And Sky, we've got an excellent show, an excellent season ready to go here for these drivers. And for the first time, they're here in the super late model. We've got an 8-race schedule, and why don't you take me through it?
Yeah, we've got some great racetracks coming up here in the Hyper Summer Series over the next 4 months. We're starting out tonight at Five Flags, home of the Snowball Derby, an iconic track for these super late models. We'll go to IRP in 3 weeks. We'll start July at Oxford Plains, which when we did the touring series here in the Misfit Racing League, was probably the best race of the season, so I'm excited for that one. The Bull Ring at Las Vegas on the 20th. We'll go to Myrtle Beach August 3rd, Sobo August 17th, another track that put on a great race in the touring series. Thompson on September 14th, and we'll end it off on September 28th at Hickory Motor Speedway. We've got 8 great tracks, 8 historic tracks coming up. These are tracks that these drivers loved in the touring series, and we're so excited to be back at them here in the Hyper Summer Series.
And that's the thing, the big difference this season is the change up from the late model stock here to the super late model. 2 cars, very, very different from each other. Here's our race, a track analysis here from Five Flags Speedway, obviously located in Pensacola, home of the Snowball Derby, exactly half a mile in length, 15 degrees in the corners, 5 degrees on the front stretch. This place is known for excellent racing, especially here with the super late model, home to the Snowball Derby, of course, where they do race this car, and it's set up a good bit looser than you would in the late model stock, so it's a lot easier up and off the corners to get loose, spin around. So we'll be looking for that tonight off of turns 2 and 4. We got some great information from Corey Body, a driver who runs these the most here in iRacing of all of our MRL drivers, and he was telling us, this car starts very loose, but over the run it builds tight, and we're gonna have 150 laps here this evening. And so he told me that you build this setup so that you will start off really loose because you know you're going to gain that tightness later on through the race.
Absolutely. We're looking at the race analysis right there. We've got 150 laps tonight, pit road speed 35 miles an hour. You've got 1 fast repair if you get in an accident. There will be no heats, max fuel load, and a feature of 28 drivers tonight. I believe we have exactly 28 who are going to make the field. So we're going to have a full field here tonight, and it's going to be a really good race at Five Flags. This is a great track for some super late models.
It really is. It gets no better. I said it myself. I said it to you and Morgan. I said if we weren't broadcasting, I'd be racing because this is awesome. We've got a 7-car invert, and so it's going to be Justin Crow up on the pole. Your original pole sitter of Corey Body will move back into 7th. So we will have that invert for you when we get through this warm-up. Drivers are on track warming up at this time. Sky, what are you expecting to see? Because, again, all these drivers at MRL that run the touring series, all they've ever known is this late model stock. We're going to have a big switch up here in terms of what drivers are contending at the front and contending for the win.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to see some new names kind of make their way up the field, and we're going to see some guys who maybe we expected to be at the front week in, week out in the late model stock touring series to slide back a little bit. These cars are still late models, but they're very different. There's a lot more horsepower, and there's a lot of different strategy to these cars as well. You're going to see a lot of tire heating on these pace laps as drivers try to get these cars ready to go because of how loose they're set up to be. It's going to be a whole different brand of racing, and we're really excited for it.
Couldn't be more excited here for this evening from the Hyper Summer Series at Five Flags Speedway for the opening race of the 8-race season that we'll have for you. Sky, that was half of the time these drivers had in the touring series to rack up a championship and those points for the championship. So really, each race is worth 2 times more than it was in the regular touring series. So you're going to have a good lot of time for the starting grid here on the evening. Again, is going to be a 7-car invert. So Justin Crowe will start on the pole. Alex Coffey will start to the outside. You're going to see it on your grid rolling through here. Again, that will be reversed. It'll be Tanner Bethea starting in third, Deacon Smith in fourth. Then it's Aaron Johnson, a newcomer here to MRL, starting in fifth. And sixth will be Cody Dempster. And again, Corey Bodie will start there in seventh. He did get your pole, but then in eighth, it is Dylan Delaney in the 88. And starting 9th and 10th, row number 5, the 61 of Jake Grout and the 71 of Christian Peterson, your Season 2 champion.
And outside the top 10, Grant Brown will roll off 11th in the 21, William Hale 12th in the 62. It'll be Jesse Henderson in the 12 and 13th, Tanner Berge in the 35 and 14th. Last car in the top 15 will be Alex Grates in the 8, Matthew Knott in the 82 and 16th. 17th, Michael Wiseman in the 1, Brandon Atkinson 18th in the 72. Last cars on your top 20 will be Victor Pfluger in the 18 and Hudson Geiger in the 10.
There behind them, it will be the 66 of Robert Taylor, another newcomer. Then in 22nd, the 22 of John Leday, and the 26 of Frank Barbary will start 23rd. 24th will be the 4 of Brandon Elvis, and then it will be the 118 of Jake Sylvia and the 85 of Aaron Harden. That is your 26 car field this evening. Kyle Adams not here, he is in race control. And my good buddy Timothy, he had forgotten that it was open setup, so he will not be here racing this evening. Could not get an open setup fast enough. So here we go, Sky. We're gonna get them good and ready to roll. One more pace lap around this time. And for the first time, we're going to see super late models hit the track.
This is going to be so much fun. These drivers have wanted a super late model series for a little bit now. This track is going to provide some great racing. It's so iconic for these cars. Really with a new challenge in this series, I think we're all looking forward to it. We've got with that invert, Justin Crowe, Alex Coffey on the front row. They're getting ready to go.
A new challenge awaits for the drivers here at MRL. Green flag is away. 150 laps for the opening of the Hyper Summer Series at Five Flags Speedway. Up front, trying to lead. Lap number 1, Tanner Bethea wildly loose out of turn number 4. That's something we're going to see in the beginning of this race. Almost 3 wide, the 78 of Aaron Johnson. Thought about it for just a second. We've got 150 laps. Hold on, Bucko.
He was going for it there. A lot of cars trying to make some moves through the field here early. It is 150 laps for that track like this where your lap times are 16 seconds. It goes by so fast. These drivers are going to be frantic trying to get their way up to the front, the early going of the stage, and we have a caution on the racetrack. Dylan Delaney is backwards on the back straightaway.
Delaney started up in 8th, so he started up towards the front. Looks like he got into it a little bit with the 1 of Michael Weissman. So Weissman might have got a little bit of that. No visible damage on any of these cars. There might be some there on the yellow machine. So a little bit there. Let's take a look back at the drivertees.com replay, see what happened here. Watching along, see some tire smoke. So yeah, looks like a big checkup from the 1. So that is Delaney there in the 88. I've never seen a car like that that has the words 88. So this is lap number 1. He's on the outside pushing very wide. Out of turn number 4 here, everything seems normal. What happens here out of turn 2? Oh, and who is that? 2 drivers getting into it together. Oh, that's a big hit for the 88. So a lot of different cars getting some damage there, Scott.
Yeah,
looks
that
like
was
Alex Grates got some. I think Hudson Geiger got some as well.
That was Grant Brown getting turned by William Hale there up in front of him. And then the car that spun Dylan Delaney around was Christian Peterson in the 71. And then, yeah, as you mentioned, Tanner Berge, Alex Grates piling into that after. A couple cars with some damage. We'll see if any of them feel the need to take the faster pair early on in this race. So far, none of them have, but we'll see about that later.
So early damage, of course, the drivers in the midfield, and Grant Brown is one of those drivers that we look at to possibly contend well. Again, there's a big difference between late model stock and the super late model, but of course, if you're a wheelman, you're going to find a way to get back up towards the front. Again, no faster pairs here in this series, so what damage you have, you're going to have to get that fixed on iRacing's timetable. So you don't, hopefully you don't want to get too much. Man, talk about that big move from Aaron Johnson into turn 1 on lap number 2. He really thought about that for a second, Sky.
He did. There have been some cars trying to move their way through the field here pretty quickly early. He was just one of them. We're going to see some more crazy racing when we go back green.
So the first restart of the evening through the restart zone. Get him back and going. Green flag back underway. Justin Crowe all out on his lonesome. Deegan Smith in the 15 gives a little bit of a door to the 20 of Buffet. So Smith trying to move into second for the first time here this evening. Under the daytime they race, the track is slick, and these cars are moving.
They said it, these cars build loose and they kind of tighten up when we have the caution. So hopefully these drivers are hoping that their car is maybe running a little bit better, not quite as loose as it was during the first stint. That's the battle for third on your screen right now. It's Aaron Johnson in the 78 on the inside of Tanner Bethea. That 78 car has been trying to make some moves here in the early going, and he's trying to get up to third on the 20 of Bethea. A little bit of a scrape to the wall for the 20, but he's not going away yet.
78 here, a new driver, as we've got a battle for the lead. Watch along with Deegan Smith. He's on the inside of the 86 of Justin Crowe, and he takes it in one corner just like that. Through 3 and 4 this time, Deegan Smith, new leader here today, second race leader of the day. So Justin Crowe falls back, and newcomer of Aaron Johnson still trying to move through into third place, but Bethea does not want to go away. We've got 3 wide in the back of the pack. Look at that 66 move through. What a job.
That's Robert Taylor in that 66. He was getting around a couple cars behind him. Victor Pfluger, Jesse Henderson there in the 18 and the 12, and now Pfluger is going to come right back at him. Bad corner for that 66 car, gives a window to the 18. They're dooring each other, and Pfluger, that was close. We're all over the place, but somehow no one wrecked.
Big stack up there between the 82 and the number 4. So a lot of movement there. I cannot believe Victor Pfluger did not get any damage out of that. Brandon Elvis did collect some damage from that, as well as the 82 of Matthew Knott. So they'll have to nurse with that the rest of the way. All the while, towards the front, we have single filed for the most part throughout the front of the top 10. But man, these battles to the mid-pack continue on. Victor Pfluger now moves in front of Brandon Elvis. And look at this chaos, Sky.
With the amount of cars that got bent out of shape there, I'm kind of surprised none of them went around. That was a great job by everybody in that mid-pack to keep it straight when that happened. You're looking back at that 4 car, Dylan Delaney trying to recover from that early spin, working to the inside of Brandon Elvis, who's been struggling early on in this race. He's now under threat from Michael Wiseman back there, another car who took some damage in that early accident. Wiseman is a driver who had a lot of speed in the touring series. Maybe wasn't the most consistent, but he definitely had moments where he was up there fighting for a win up on the podium. He's not had a great start to his Hyper Summer Series. He's going to need to work to get that car under control and get it back up towards the front.
We've got a lot of time. You look along there with the 22 of John Leday. He was another driver that definitely continued to get better and better over season 2 of the Misfit Touring Series. But right now having some early struggles. Back up towards the front. Deegan Smith still your leader, but he's out by about half a second over the 78 of Aaron Johnson. Johnson has done really well for himself in his opening race debut with the Misfit Racing League. And of course, we've got Corey Bodie right there, ready to go, ready to pounce, just in case Johnson makes a mistake. You can see how loose Johnson is. Oh, he gets wide into 1. That's going to open the door for Bodie.
Side by side down the back straightaway now. Corey Bodie would have been the pole sitter, but we had that invert and it sent him back to 7th. He's already gotten it back up to P2, and it only took him 20 laps. That 44 car is hooked up right now. He's a favorite coming into this series. We all know that. He's going to try to make it 1-for-1 here and claim the first race at 5 Flags.
Good job by the 78 of Aaron Johnson to go ahead, give that spot up after he made the mistake, get back in line, because while you can make the high line work, you will absolutely use your stuff up so you do not want to run on the high line any longer than you have to. Justin Crow following through the field just a little bit. Your biggest mover right now, the 118 of Jake Sylvia, up 12 spots from the start of this race. We know Jake Sylvia, a season 1 champion from the Touring Series. But how will he compete in this super late model? Didn't qualify well, but he has started to continue to move through this field. Started 25th, he's up to 13th.
For sure, plus 12 from the start of this race. Good early run for Jake Sylvia here. He definitely needs to be a little more patient just driving through the field compared to how he was in the Touring Series, where he started up front pretty much every week. This is back further in the field. You're looking at Dylan Delaney still trying to recover from that early accident in that 88 car. Got that 17 right behind him there. They're still fighting in this battle. It's the 17 on the car, but that is Alex Grates there in the 8 on your kicker. So that's what's going on with that car. Still chasing down Dylan Delaney.
Alex Grates, we've seen him do pretty well for himself when he has made select starts within the Touring Series. And again, race fans, you'll hear us talk about that all night long. The difference between how these drivers race in the Touring Series versus how they're doing in this super late model in the Hyper Summer Series, because it is a big difference. One of Michael Weissman trying to gain some early positions here within the first 30 laps.
We got battles going from 5th through 7th. It's Ken Buffet in the 20, running up in 5th. Right behind him, it'll be side by side with Alex Coffey and Cody Dempster. Coffey tried to get a move going up the inside of Tanner Buffet, but there was contact between the two. He got loose and had to back it down. He's not going to cut that 20 car any slack, taking all his runaway on exit, and that's going to give Alex Coffey the 5th slot. He's now got Tanner Buffet back to 6th, and we'll see if Cody Dempster, who started 2nd but had the invert and went back to 6th, can try to make his way through the field in the same way that Bodie has.
Dempster, another fast driver. He's had some mistakes. He had some earlier in the Touring Series, but every time that we got to see him, he was another fast driver out there. But they falling a little bit, and he started up on the front row, and he's fallen back to 6th position, now 7th spot after the pass from Dempster. But I think one thing about this race, Sky, is it is going to be a race of attrition. And the minute I say that, caution, it's Michael Weissman in the 1 as we had a big wreck in 4. It is the number 12 car.
That'd be Jesse Henderson in the 12, was kind of the start of that incident right there. We'll get it on our drivertees.com replay. He was rolling through turns 3 and 4. He just kind of got loose all on his own. We mentioned these cars start really loose on these runs, and that 12 car just lost it.
Oh.
Innocent victim back there was Alex Grates, taking a huge hit. He had nowhere to go.
Oh man, that could be day done for the both of them. Just a bit of a loose moment for the 12 of Jesse Henderson, but it's so easy to step out like that. And you know, you saw the 12 spinning it down towards the inside, nowhere to go for Alex Grates in his number 17 super late model. They're going to have to get some damage repaired here.
Seeing a couple cars in the pit lane here. Drivers who were a little further back in the field. Guys like Dylan Delaney coming in, Michael Wiseman, Tanner Burgee. A lot of drivers just trying to get that damage fixed. Everyone from about 17th on up, that'd be Frank Barbary in 26, is still out on the racetrack. Has not made a pit stop yet.
Only a few pit stops for those that have incurred damage. Brandon Elvis in the 4 being one of those that did come in. You see the 88 of Dylan Delaney. Again, you know what, Sky, we didn't get to mention earlier. I think we did in our race analysis. These drivers do have one set of tires in the pits. So we might see a lot of drivers right now staying out, maybe take those at the halfway break. But could we see any, maybe if we get a caution, you know, maybe at lap 50, may we see someone pit early, stay out later when everyone else pits, and maybe save a little bit more, try to gain some track position from the lead?
Yeah, we'll find out. I think one thing to keep an eye on is going to be the 2-tire calls for some of these drivers. From what we've heard from some of these drivers in the field, Corey Bodie specifically, left rear wear is pretty good for these cars. It actually helps them speed up a little bit. So he thinks that a lot of drivers are going to be taking 2 right side tires when the pit stop does come. We'll see if that ends up playing out.
Not a bad call. And when we get pit stops, who will take 2 and who will take 4 But right now, it's a new front row. Deacon Smith, Corey Bodie. Will Bodie be able to take it? Big spin, all three on the bottom. Get a little bit sideways on the restart. That's going to give Deacon Smith clear air, all for his own. Running high out of 2. Bodie right there, ready for the taking, as he has been all race long through the early portions. Easy for cars to get stacked up here, but we are single file through the first 4. Alex Coffey, Cody Dempster side by side for 5th.
They're side by side behind him too. That's William Hale and Tanner Bethea down there on the bottom. So side by side, really 3 rows deep to round out your top 10. Dempster's trying to get that spot on the top, and he'll get clear of Alex Coffey, and big wreck.
The outside wall. Trying to cut you there, Sky. I saw it. It was as it was happening. A bit of a right rear squeeze there, and Grant Brown is hard in the wall. I was just about to mention how he had been working back towards the front after the first caution incident. And that was the 66 that might have gotten into him.
That's an interesting one, kind of down the straightaway there. Not a place you see a lot of wrecks at 5 Flags. It happened to Grant Brown and Robert Taylor right there off that corner, just coming together as they exit. Looks like Robert Taylor was a little bit low on the racetrack. Grant Brown thought he might be higher up, and that was what caused that one to happen.
It looked like from that angle that Grant Brown might have come up a little bit on Robert Taylor there in the 66. But man, that has got to be frustrating for the 14. He doesn't look to have too much visible damage, but it was a hard hit. So I've got to imagine iRacing might not be giving us all the information on that hit for itself. But right now, no terribly visible damage, but I've got to think he's got a couple of minutes at least with that hard impact with the outside wall.
For sure. Probably won't be required repair, but I think he'll certainly have some optional damage to fix there that'll really slow up that car. Going head on into the wall like that, at what's really the fastest part of the racetrack, is going to do a number on that car.
So one thing in the race of attrition, it might not be just about your tires. It might also be about, can you stay away from getting damaged? Can you keep your race car clean? And that might be a big tail sign of racers that will make their way to the front this evening, Sky.
For sure, it'll be an EOL penalty for both the drivers who are involved in that one. Robert Taylor in the 66 and also the 14 car back there. But I don't think it's really gonna be too much because both of those cars are at the back anyway. Robert Taylor didn't pit to fix damage, but Grant Brown did. I would like to know, we were told 14, it's the 21 of Grant Brown. He's got 21 on the ticker, 14 on the car. There's a couple cars who kind of have that mismatch there. Grant Brown is one of them.
So we'll get ready for another restart. Grant Brown trying to catch the tail, get back in this race, get back in the fight. 43 laps complete, coming to 44, so getting close to 1/3 mark of this race. Green flag out. Deacon Smith, the control car, gets away cleanly from Corey Bodie. But Bodie going to be lurking. Aaron Johnson, Justin Crowe sitting second or third and fourth. They're side by side for just a moment, but Johnson will take it as the 77 of Alex Coffey is being taken 3 wide by William Hale.
Bad corner for Coffey. He got way loose and way up the racetrack. All the way into the marbles. There's some contact from behind potentially for that 7 car. If it was, he is not going to be happy at the car getting into the back of him. He'll go towards 9th. Could have been a lot worse, dropping only about 3 or 4 spots there. He'll try to lock it down and recover. Further back, we're going 3 wide here. That's Michael Wiseman in the 1 through the middle. Barbary on the top there in that 26 car. And then working on the bottom, it's the 66 of Robert Taylor trying to recover from that EOL.
Could not believe that we made it through that. Race control came over the radio. And I think this was talking about the incident with Alex Coffey. Too early to be moving people out of the way like that. So obviously whoever did make the move on that with Alex Coffey, it is too early for a move like that. Jake Grout trying to move through the field here in his number 61. Hasn't had the start to this race he would have liked either. Again, he's been a great contender in the Touring Series. This is the Super Late Model in the Hyper Summer Series.
Yeah, on the Alex Coffey, that was Tanner Bethea, who kind of made a big move in, got into the back of William Hale, who got into the back of Alex Coffey. It was a multi-car stack up there for Tanner Bethea, who drove that car up to 7th in the chaos and is now still behind William Hale there in the 62, and is currently running in 6th. William Hale from 12th to 6th early on in this race, but the real biggest mover is 2 spots behind him. Jake Sylvia has gone 25 to 8.
Continues to impress. Jake Sylvia, we always know that he's got to run at the front. He's proving that here in the difference of the vehicles and the difference of the late models, and he's proving it to us here this evening. But as he continues to run, continues to try to work himself through this field, it will get harder and harder for him to make passes. Could he get up to Corey Bodie? Big checkup in turn 2. Nobody gets into anything, nothing crazy. Aaron Harden here in the 85, running just at the back of the top 10. He's trying to pass Alex Coffey. Coffey seems a little bit slow after getting sideways like that.
Certainly going to have overheated his tires a little bit. We'll get him a little more loose than he wants to be. He'll need to lock it back down. Aaron Harden's gone plus 16, 26 to 10 in the early stages of this race. So another bad qualifying effort for him, but it's been a great recovery, just like it has been with Jake Sylvia. Looking further back, this is the 4 of Brandon Elvis on the outside of the 88 of Dylan Delaney. Delaney trying to make that move. And then you got Michael Wiseman right back here trying to make the move on Elvis on the top. He's got Grant Brown behind him in the 14, also trying to recover. Big loose for Wiseman there. That car is struggling. You can see he's missing the entire front left bodywork on that car. Yeah, it's not going well for him in that one machine. He's going to need some cautions to fix that damage.
And Weissman was holding on to that one out of 4. Great save from the number 1 of Michael Weissman. Back up towards the front. Corey Bodie closing in on your leader of Deacon Smith. He's been doing it lap after lap, time after time, just slowly faster. That last lap, he was a little faster, just by 2/100ths of a second. But again, we expect Corey Bodie to be the ace here this evening in the super late model here in the Hyper Summer Series. He has the most work with this car. He was texting Sky and us earlier this week, and you know, all he runs is open setup super late models. So he's got the sets, he's got the track time, but can he get it done here under real race conditions with the Misfit series?
That's what we're going to find out tonight. He is still behind Deacon Smith in that 15. He qualified 4th, started in 4th as well with the inverse. So he's done a good job to hold on to this lead, even though Body out-qualified him by a little bit there in the starting order for this race. 78 car back here, trying to make a move on the inside of the 44 of Corey Bodie. This is Aaron Johnson. He's had a lot of speed in the early stages, and he'll go straight through. Bodie going to try a little bit of a crossover. I don't know if he's going to have the same speed getting to the bumper. He will not. It is Aaron Johnson comfortably in second, and now it'll be his turn to try to take on Deacon Smith.
Well, and that's Bodie right there. He let him on by in 3 and 4, and I don't think Aaron Johnson knows what we know about Bodie's time in the seat here in this super late model in iRacing. But if from an outside perspective, if I've got the guy that's probably the most experience in this field moving over and letting me go, I'd probably say, do I want to be doing what he's doing? So a little bit of a move there. So Aaron Johnson, newcomer here, promotes himself into second. This is a good run for William Hale. He was second fastest in practice. He only qualified in 12th, though, for his race time. He's up in the top 5.
It's been a very good run for that 62 car. Off the racetrack, it's Michael Wiseman. So he might be calling it quits for the day here. He went pretty hard into the outside wall, or nearly into the outside wall. It looked like the car just kind of broke on him down the straightaway, maybe as a result of that damage. That's why he is out of the race now. Back up front, this is Alex Coffey in the 7. He has not been able to move up any spots since that punt. He's still being hounded by Aaron Harden in the 85, who's hung out in 10th for a lot of this race. Jake Grout is going to put a move up the inside of that 85 car. He'll steal 10th away.
Jake Grout doing a great job of working his way through this field. Again, it wasn't the most excellent qualifying effort. He did start in ninth, so he's about around where he started. I think we've seen more speed out of Grout before, but he's kind of been hanging out where he's at, saving tire. And oh, as I say that, wow, he is sideways out of four-wheel slide. He's able to hang on to it, but I think that's one thing that we've seen out of this tire model for this super late model car is Victor Fluger looking to the inside. That tire, once it gets heated up, once it gets overheated, it doesn't have enough time to cool back down, and you lose grip. You don't gain that grip back ever.
For sure. You kind of need a caution to get that grip back, especially in a track like this. It can be so hard to get it back when you're turning almost constantly like you are at Five Flags. I mean, this track feels like it's mostly corner, and when you've got a track temp of 117 degrees Fahrenheit, that's not going to do you any favors when it comes to tire temperature or tire wear, and that makes it all the more difficult here in this race for these drivers. Oh, look at that loose. That was close there for Aaron Harden.
Big time for Aaron Harden. Great battle here between all of these drivers, spouted within right outside of the top 5 and right outside of the top 10. William Hale continuing to try to hold up some of these cars. He's got a big gap in front of him, trying to hold the rest of them off. 1.2 seconds ahead to Corey Bodie in 3rd position. So just trying to hold him up right now. And look at this 4-car pack right here, starting with the 85 of Aaron Harden, trying to squeeze the 7 towards the outside. Again, Coffey just has not been able to recover since that early sideways move after he got moved by Buffet on the opening of this restart. Jay Grout continuing to try to get back forward, move back forward. And it's been a slower start for him. He's trying to nurse his way up towards the front. What can Coffey do? Oh,
He's going to be
not get into the wall.
Yeah, that's Aaron Harden up there on the top line still, dealing with Jake Grout on the bottom behind him. He'll stay clear of that 61 car. So good recovery to not spin the car out there, but he would like to not hit that wall again because you're really risking some damage when you do that.
You really do. It's also one thing to note as we see here Jake Grout go through on the 85, Victor Fluger going through on Coffey. One thing about this super late model, it's so easy for it to get glued to the wall. When you get that outside wall out of turn 2 or out of turn 4 on the front straightaway, it's almost like the car becomes a magnet to the wall, and you have to slow down so much to get it off the wall, and you lose a ton of time.
Yeah, for sure, especially in a track like this where you've got those like big, wide, sweeping corners. If you're not able to get it off the wall, you're not going to be able to get it off the wall for a while. You're going to lose a lot of time if that happens, so you really got to be careful to not hit the wall. The track is a little bit wider than some of the ones we go to. You've got a little bit of room to work, but if you get up on the top, you can end up in those marbles, and you'll be in trouble even if you're not in the wall.
We've just crossed over into halfway, so got to imagine if we get a caution at any point now, we would see drivers pit for tires. Sky, I could tell you, if we got to lap 135 and we got a caution, we had yet to pit for tires, I would guarantee you that drivers would, because tires really do matter. This track has not been repaved since 1976. It is one of the most abrasive surfaces when it comes to abrasive racetracks throughout the southeast of the country. So you really are going to want tires, if at all, if we get that caution, even if we get late into this race. Aaron Johnson trying to battle for the lead. He has slowly closed in bit by bit on Deacon Smith, but he hasn't been able to close in any more than 0.3 of a second.
Oh, for sure on the tires. I mean, we've seen these lap times have fallen off about 1 second from what they were at the start of this race. These drivers were running best laps somewhere between 16.4 and 16.7, and now everyone's running laps between about 17.3 and 17.6. So about 1 second of fall off here as we cross the halfway point in this race. If this does stay green, I agree with you that everybody's going to have to come down and take tires under caution, because fall off is just so great that if you try to stay out, even if there's only 15 laps left in the race, you're going to go free falling through the field. maybe a risk worth taking if you're the very last car on the lead lap, but if you're trying to race for some position up here, I think you absolutely need tires whenever the caution does fly next.
And that is a great point. Will we see a caution? And if so, what will it change throughout this field? We obviously will most likely, almost 99%, get those pit stops that we have yet to be able to see from the full field. What will that change? You got to be perfect in your box, perfect down the lane. You cannot be forced into speeding. But the question is, how do you take this as a driver right now, Sky? There are no guaranteed cautions. There never have, there never is here within the Misfit Racing League, and especially here in the Hyper Summer Series. You've got to act like this race is going to go green to the end. That's more, over 65 more laps.
Well, what I'm interested in is if that two-tire strategy we heard about from the drivers actually ends up playing out. If we go 120, 130 laps on these tires and the caution flies with 20 or 30 to go, are we still going to see drivers come down and take 2, or will these guys put 4 on it? I think that's going to be a pretty major issue. This is a battle for position back here. You've got Bethea in the 20 car. He is up on Cody Dempster, the 24, and a little bit of contact. Dempster's into the marbles. Bethea moves that 24 out of the way, and I don't think Dempster will be too happy about that one.
What a save from Dempster, and that thing shot up almost all the way towards the wall. Great catch by Dempster, being able to get that one back. And a few cars slow right in front. Lap car of Brandon Elvis here in front of Tanner Bethea. He's going to pull down to the bottom of the racetrack, get himself out of the way. But Tanner Bethea coming over the radio, I've got to imagine that he is apologizing to the 24 of Dempster, because I don't think he meant to do that.
He's now got Justin Crowe working up on the outside of that 20 car, and Justin Crowe is one of our most consistent drivers in the Touring Series. He only got a win or two, but every week he was up there in the top 3 and the top 5 racing for points. He was one of the top drivers in the championship at the end of the season, so he's certainly looking to have another good run here and build on his success in the Touring Series, in the Hyper Summer Series. Right now running in 6th, but if he can get around Bethea, it would move him up to 5th. He started on pole there with the invert, has stayed in the top 7 all race. Pretty quiet day, but a pretty good one for that 86 car.
Well, and another driver that I think about when you talk about consistency is the Season 2 champion of the Touring Series, and that is the 71 of Christian Peterson. He's currently running in the, let's see, looks like 14th position right now across the scoring pylon, but he has just gone a lap down. That is Corey Bodie right behind him, and about to put him a lap down to the 3rd place car. Peterson just not finding his way here at Five Flags in the super late model.
No, he has not had a great start to this series. He qualified okay, was kind of in the mid-pack, but maybe picked up a little bit of damage. It's not the day that 71 car won it at all. He's going to have some good races over the next few weeks as we move into the rest of our schedule at IRP and at Oxford to try and move himself back up the field.
Because that is another important thing. We mentioned it in the pre-race, how important each race is. In the regular series, we had 16 races, 16 weeks of racing. You could have 1 or 2 races where, you know, you had a drop week basically in terms of, you know, if you did bad, you know, dang, that stinks, but we'll get them next time. But here in this short 8-race series, you don't really have that. You're going to have drivers like Corey Bodie that are up there and competing for wins in a lot of our races. So you can't have an off week. Speaking of not having an off week here, Jake Grout continuing to try to hold his position. He has been running around this 9th spot throughout the entire race. I think his average running position has probably been exactly 10th, because he has been 9th to 11 all race long. We're in 2 laps. We'll cross over the 2/3 mark of this race. Another great battle here between Tanner Bethea and Justin Crowe.
Right after the conclusion of the Touring Series, we ran a quick 3-race Triple Crown showdown, and the winner of that one was Jake Grout, who's driving that 61 car right now. So in these shorter series, we've shown he can get it done. Not the best start here. He started 9th, running 9th. He stayed there pretty much the entire race. And if he wants to get a championship, he's going to have to be a little further up the field than that over the next few weeks. But he's shown he can race well, and he's shown he can win in these series. He'll try to do it this time, too.
Let's also talk about this. Great showing for our new drivers here. 4 of them within the top 10, or excuse me, I think it's 3 of them. So 3 of them within the top 10 here of drivers who have yet to race with the Misfit Touring Series, and now they're new to the Hyper Summer Series here at Misfit Racing League. So great job to Aaron Johnson, William Hale, and Aaron Harden.
They've all had great days here, especially Hale and Harden, who have gone from 12 to 4 and 25 to 8. They've had to go all the way through the field tonight, but they've done great jobs to move themselves up and get themselves in a position where they're going to start this series on a pretty high note. 2/3 of the way through the race now, 47 to go for these drivers. Still Deegan Smith up front by 1.5 seconds, and then we got Aaron Johnson, Corey Bodie, William Hale. Justin Crowe has gotten past Bethea. He'll be up in 5th.
And you know, here's the thing. Fuel is going to be an issue. Drivers are already talking about running out of fuel. I didn't even think this was going to be possible. We could see green flag pit stops. I didn't think we were going to see that, but we could see green flag pit stops.
Yeah, we're not used to those in the Misfit Touring Series. When we had that, when we did the late model stock series, fuel was never really a concern. But with these super late models and with the open setups, that is going to be kind of a new thing here that we're going to have to keep an eye on with some of these drivers. Maybe green flag stops, maybe you guys just coming down to try to gas it and go as we make it down to the end of the race. We'll find out.
I've just got to say, Deegan Smith, you know, we got to see him earlier this season. We got a great battle right here between all of these cars trying to work through on the 22 of John Leday, who is a lap down. Oh my goodness, a bit of 3 wide there. Almost opened the door for the 85 of Aaron Harden to try to get back up into 9th place. But good job from Jake Grout to move on through that. Brandon Elvis, another one of those lap cars. He is obviously pitted. Look at this. This is what new tires will do to you. Brandon Elvis obviously had some damage earlier, but now with these new tires, he's able to go and almost breeze by these drivers that are on the lead lap. And that's something we're going to see when we see pit stops in what could be green flag pit stop conditions. And
well, never mind.
Say that the caution comes out. 24 of Cody Dempster is spun. He's got huge damage in turn 3. That's not where that wheel is supposed to be.
No, that we had a little bit of an ARCA brake action there coming into Cody Dempster, and that was what really tore the car up. The initial wreck wasn't that bad. He's racing with Tanner Berge here. He's 1 lap down, and as they come down into turn 3, Berge slides up the road a little bit into the side of Dempster, but check out Hudson Geiger back here. Straight into the back of that accident, couldn't slow the car down, and that was what did the most damage to both cars.
Yeah, and iRacing hadn't quite thrown the caution yet. We'll ride along here with Geiger. Oh, yeah. You just got to lock it down. I don't know. That's a tough one because you can't see that car from that far away. But, you know, a great job from Geiger there to not turn down on the car inside of him. Had enough awareness to know if I turn right like this or I turn left like this, I'm going to hook this other car. We're going to all in here in a pile. It's going to be atrocious. But while that was all going on, we've got pit stops going on. Quick gas and go. I believe they got tires. I gotta hope they got tires. But Deegan Smith looked to get out first for lap cars. 2 drivers did stay out. They have yet to pit at all. Now they come into the lane, Victor Fluger and Alex Coffey. So they looked like they might have been staying out for a moment, but they have come in. But here's the thing, we talked about it, Sky, pit stops, who could get in, who could get out. Deegan Smith's gonna retain his lead.
We talked about the 2-tire strategy. Everybody who's up here at the front of the field came down and only put 2 on it. Only 10 to 12 seconds in the box for all of these drivers. So everybody's going to have only taken 2 tires here of the set that they have in the pits. 4 tires is going to be 23 seconds, and we have a couple cars further back who didn't take that. That'd be Brandon Atkinson, Robert Taylor, both 14th and 15th, who came down and took 4 along with John Leday back in 16th. But the cars up here in these top 8 positions are all on 2 tires. And then we've also got Dylan Delaney up here at 9th. Fuel only for that 88 car. A lot of different strategy being played.
A lot of different stuff going on between the drivers, between who did what, who pitted for what. So it looks like 2 tires for most of the front of the field. Right sides only. That's what Cody was talking to us about for a lot of this. We'll have a quick less than 40 lap run to the end. Will we see more cautions? Drivers out on fresh tires, difference of strategy. Who can take it all the way to the end? Deegan Smith out front, and it's Aaron Johnson, Corey Bodie, and the 42 of William Hale. Tanner Bethea rounds out the top 5.
Hale's on that high line while everybody else trains the bottom. He's up on the outside of Bodie and Bethea down there, and we got loose for Deegan Smith. That's going to open the door for Aaron Johnson working on that bottom line. Smith is going to prevail down here into turn 3, but Johnson has a better center of the corner. They'll stay pretty even on exit. Aaron Johnson fighting for the lead of this race.
Well, and Johnson peeked the nose down into 1 the last time. Oh, as Bodie gets into the wall. Johnson peeked the nose, and Deegan Smith did not want to chop him off. As Aaron Johnson, oh my goodness, 4-wheel slide. He's able to save it, but he's going to fall back to 3rd. Maybe susceptible to the 62 of William Hale. And I can guarantee you he's going to lose all that fresh rubber that he just pitted for.
Yeah, that'll heat up those tires for sure, and now it's going to be Corey Bodie in that 2nd position, trying to look at the inside of Deegan Smith there for that lead position as we hit 31 to go at the line this time. The 44 car is within 0.2 of a second, and he's getting a better run off the corner than Deegan Smith is. Bodie is going lower, trying to go right down to that inside wall on exit of 4, seeing if he can use that line to help himself get around Deegan Smith.
I gotta say, I think that caution was the last thing that Deegan Smith wanted to see. He had a 1.3 second lead over the 78 of Aaron Johnson. Corey Bodie looking for the lead here for the first time today. Again, he qualified on pole, but had to start in 7th because of the invert. But he has yet to lead a lap. He has been patiently waiting for his time, and he has decided that that time is now. With under 30 laps remaining, he is looking for the lead. The 10 up on the high side, that is a lap car. All lead lap cars able to avoid. But if you're Deegan Smith, you've got to know that Corey Bodie is right there, and that's got to build some pressure.
Bodie is running so much lower through these corners. You've seen Deegan Smith move up a lane, and that'll open the door for the 44 car and Corey Bodie on the bottom. He's been running lower than that 15 car the whole time. 15 finally slid up a little too much, and the door was open for Bodie to try to make the move under 30 laps to go here at 5 flags.
There we go, big wiggle. The 44 parks it on the left rear of the 15. Gets him slideways out of turn number 2. Cannot believe Deegan Smith was able to hang on to that race car. He's going to fall back into 3rd. Tries to pull the crossover. He will pull the crossover, but as the minute he does that, Aaron Johnson cuts off the nose. So Deegan Smith falls back to 3rd after a little bit of aggressive push from Corey Bodie.
He's led over half this race. He's been the dominant car, but he's going to have to work from 3rd if he wants to win. Further back in the field, this is 1 lap down, but it's 4 position. Alex Coffey is the first lapped car in 13th, and then you've got this car back here, the 66 of Robert Taylor, running in 14th, trying to make this move happen.
Look up here, another battle between Victor Pfluger and Aaron Harden. This is a battle within the top 10. The 72 right there is a lap car, so not in this fight for position. But again, another great job for Aaron Harden. Another great battle on the racetrack is for 4th between William Hale and Tanner Bethea. Hale trying to defend his best for Bethea. This has been another good run for Bethea. We talked about, we've compared these drivers a lot to their touring series days. And Tanner Bethea is one that had a bit of a struggle this past year in the early season of season 2. Didn't get to run many races, but here in the super late model, he is looking pretty fit.
And back up in that battle for 2nd, Deegan Smith is pretty consistently running about half a lane or a lane higher than the 2 cars in front of him. It looks like he's trying to wheel it down on the exit, but he isn't getting the same turnoff that Aaron Johnson is. Aaron Johnson is able to go down all the way to the apron on exit on these corners if he wants to with no problems. Deegan Smith is kind of having to run an altered line to get to that same point, and it's hurting him speed-wise. That's why he's fallen about 2 or 3 tenths off of that 78 car.
Great to get to ride along with him there. You can see how he's working the wheel, how much these drivers are working the wheel in these cars, just how much work they're having to do. It's not just turning it to the left, it is back and forth, sawing on the wheel, trying to get to the car to go where you want. It's a great job here, a great defense from the 62 of William Hale. It's so difficult to have a car right on your bumper like that and not peak and fall from the pressure, but to hold in. And Tanner Bethea, gonna get a little bit of a check up there. Great job from Bethea to stay off of the 62. It's like the late models. These are one of the similarities. It's really easy if you get that nose right up under the rear to lift the rears of your competitor as we look for Tanner Bethea to make a move.
Bethea's nose of that car has already had a little bit of action here today. We've seen him into the back of a couple cars here tonight, so he's not afraid to get his hands dirty trying to gain spots. Not really a problem there, though. He'll get to the inside of the 62 of William Hale pretty cleanly, and now Hale is going to fight back on the top. He'll run about a lane up. He'll give space to Bethea, and that 20 car is going to try to get through here for fourth. He's not clear quite yet. The 62 is doing
a lead. Corey Bodie's going to get turned. The 78 spins him around hard into the inside wall, and caution is out.
Oh my goodness, that is going to completely change this battle for the lead. We're going to get a drivertees.com replay as we came off of the 78 straight into the back of Bodie. Big damage for the 44 car, and I imagine the 78 will be getting an EOL for that. Deegan Smith is going to be your new leader.
Oh my goodness. And that's all it takes, that slight amount of contact. That part in turn 4 when you're on the exit in that transition from the banking 15 degrees all the way to 5, that is the most vulnerable point for this super late model. And you tap a driver like that right in the exit of 4, that is all it takes, just that small amount of contact, because that's how on the limit these drivers are here at Five Flags in the super late models at the Hyper Summer Series. And like you said, Sky, this is going to completely change it up. I think that's where we saw great patience from Tanner Bethea, impatience from the rookie in the 78 of Aaron Johnson.
Both drivers are going to get an EOL penalty, so with only 14 to go, 13 to go at the line this time, that'll be the end of the night for both Corey Bodie and Aaron Johnson. They'll still be in the race, but that is the end of their chances to win here tonight. It's going to be a new look front row on this restart. Deegan Smith, Tanner Bethea, William Hale, Jake Sylvia has gone 25-4, and Justin Crow will be your top 5 once we get back rolling.
Well, and that's one thing. You gotta have patience, especially in a moment like that. I think that could have been an excellent battle for the lead. It looked like Aaron Johnson might have actually had more speed than Bodie. Again, we could have maybe thought that Bodie was maybe still saving a little bit. At this point, on lap 135, it's been go time. You saw that when Bodie went and took the lead away from the 15 of Deegan Smith. But as I bet Deegan Smith is sitting in his car right now thinking this has got to be some sort of karma or something, because he's got the race lead back. The question is, will his tires be cooled down enough under this caution period to be able to go out and fight with Bethea? Bethea has been a great driver all night, being very patient. Will he be patient in the fight for this lead, or will we see the aggression ramp up? Great start from Deegan Smith, not so good for Bethea on the outside.
They were dooring each other before they even took the green flag there. The aggression is clearly already on 11. Bethea is trying to get clear for P2, but William Hale won't let him go. He's been fighting with that 20 for 10 laps now, and he has not let Bethea get away. William Hale is trying on his debut in this series to get up into the top 2. We'll see if he can get it done as we take 8 to go next time.
Bethea's got to pinch down the 62, cannot let him get that drive up off the corner of the 62 sideways. That's all Bethea needed. Now he can focus forward, keep his eyes straight, try to battle for the lead. Can Bethea get to him? Aaron Harden now on the inside of the 61 of Jake Grout. These two drivers have been right next to each other all evening long, but they've got 8 laps to decide who wants this position, who wants 6th, and who will finish 7th. The 61 of Jake Grout sitting 6th, Harden sitting 7th.
Great race for Aaron Harden, as we mentioned, 26-7. He was the last qualifier of the drivers who've set a time, but he's turned it around. He's raced great, and he's plus 20 from where he started tonight. Back up front, Tanner Bethea is on the bumper of Deegan Smith. He's finally gotten rid of William Hale in the 62, and all his attention is going to be on the car in front of him. It's 6 to go this time. The laps are running down. Tanner Bethea has not been afraid to get his bumper dirty. Will he do it as we come down to the end of this race?
Well, and he played so cleanly with the 62 of William Hale, but I don't think he has time to do that with Deegan Smith. If he wants this pass, if he thinks he's faster, he is gonna have to move him. It's hard to do in iRacing. It's hard to do it cleanly, and that's why you have to be so very precise. You have to pick your moments. But that 20, it's go time now. 4 to go across the stripe. Can he get it done, or can Deegan Smith hold him off?
Deegan Smith's led over half the laps this race. He's been the dominant car, but Bethea seems to have the speed right now all over the bumper of the 15. As we take 3 to go, we've got a little bit of lap traffic from Aaron Johnson up in front of these two. That might affect this battle for the lead here if they come up to him.
Yeah, I think that Aaron Johnson might give way. Yes, he will. Goes all the way down to the apron. Bethea enters higher, turns low off of 4, gets a great drive, but he's sideways here. That could be a mistake, one that he didn't needed. 2 laps to go now across the stripe. Bethea right on the bumper of Deegan Smith. Smith has done a great job at holding his line. Here's the 2 different lines in 3 and 4. Bethea hits harder down up high, but drives down low. 1 to go. White flag out this time for Deegan Smith. Can he continue to hold off Bethea? It looks like he will. Bethea is going to drop back. So Deegan Smith, in the race of attrition, takes the lead to give it away. Now he takes it back over the checker flag. He drifts over the line to take the first win in the Hyper Summer Series. Great job in the 15.
128 laps led for the driver of that 15 car. He was dominant today. Led from an early portion of this race. Relinquished the lead for a couple laps there, but he got it back, and he is going to go 3 wide to celebrate.
A 3 wide celebration, bit of a celebratory bump from the 61 of Jake Grout and the 62 of William Hale. Deegan Smith will burn it down on the front straightaway. He's going to make some contact with the inside wall, but hey, it's post-race. Checkered flag has been flown. He is good to go. Cleared through the iRacing post-tech. Great job from Deegan Smith. It really was quite a race for him, because I think he will feel that the late race lead was taken away from him early by Bodie.
For sure, Bodie had that lead there for a second, and for a second he looked like he might win the race there, but that contact with Aaron Johnson put them both to the back. Bodie will still finish 9th tonight, but it's far, far from the win that he could have gotten.
Send it to a quick commercial. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, race fans. We've got the results and interviews from our top 3 here in the Hyper Summer Series.
Is going to take the victory, 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's going to get through it all and score his first career win. Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
here from Pensacola, Florida at Five Flags Speedway with the results from here, the Hyper Summer Series race number 1. Deegan Smith able to hold on under fierce attack from Tanner Bethea. Bethea comes up just short in second. William Hale, a rookie to the series, finishes last spot on the podium. Jake Sylvia goes from 25th all the way to 4th in his 118. And Justin Crow, who started on the pole from the invert, he goes into the top 5. And it's Jake Kraut in the 61 and 6th. 7th was another rookie, the 85 of Aaron Harden. Victor Pfluger, a great run from the back as well. He finishes in 8th. Corey Bodie finishes in 9th after getting spun from the lead. Dylan Delaney, after an early race damage, finishes in the top 10.
Outside the top 10 tonight, Alex Coffey, last car in the lead lap, will finish 11th. In 12th, it'll be the 66 car, Robert Taylor. Christian Peterson, 13th in the 71. It'll be Brandon Atkinson, 14th, and Matthew Knott will round out your top 15. Grant Brown, 16. John Leday, 17. Frank Barbary, Aaron Johnson, who could have had a much better day, and Tanner Berge will round out your top 20.
Right outside of the top 20, the 10 of Hudson Geiger finishes 21st, 22nd to 4 of Brandon Elvis. Cody Dempster, that big contact from the 10 in turn 3 put him in 23rd. Michael Weissman also had some race-ending damage. He puts 24th. And the last two cars in the field, 25th and 26th, there was Jesse Henderson and Alex Grates. So 26 cars raced at the end of the night, but the driver who came out on top was the 15 of Deegan Smith. We're going to pull him up here into the booth. Deegan Smith, what a race for you. You led a ton of laps early, but I want to know what went through your mind when that caution came out.
Oh, I had no clue what was going to happen. I was scared. I didn't know how the car would react or how anything would happen. I ended up getting super tight in 3 and 4 where I had been perfect all day, but it obviously turned on me when I took tires.
I want to know from your perspective about that battle for the lead between you and Bodie. Obviously, I think Bodie got into your left rear, was kind of laying on you there. How did you feel about that contact? Did you feel it was clean or a little unnecessary?
It was clean. I got loose, turned down. He said he turned up, so nothing you can really do there. It's just a racing deal.
Race incident between the two of you. I know that you ran some in and out races with us this past season in the touring series. Do you plan on running here the full summer series?
I'm going to try my best to. After tonight, I've shown that I have some good speed, so I'm hoping I can continue that and continue to stay up in the points and maybe win this thing.
Well, you looked like one of the best drivers to make the transition from the late model stock to the super late model. Congratulations on your win. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
I want to thank RKM Setup Shop for the setup, and then Jake Sylvia. He sent me his race set right before the race, and I used that thing, and it was on rails.
Well, it was on rails for him as well. Gained 19 positions. Deegan Smith, congratulations on the win tonight. Go celebrate, man.
Thank you.
So Deegan Smith holds on to get the win after some race contact with the 44, but he calls it all clean, just a racing incident. And Sky Shrek is going to be with your second place driver of Tanner Bethea.
Hey, Tanner, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about that battle there at the end. What more did you need to get around him and get the win?
There then, I mean, I just got way too tight. Like I just couldn't. Had just no turn to turn up under him off exit. So it was just fighting a losing battle pretty much.
All right. Well, it was a pretty good night for you tonight. I want you to also tell me about your battle with William Hale towards the end, because you were racing with him for about 10 or 20 laps there.
Yeah. The top is just so much better. And also me being tied up under him, just had not enough drive to get by him there. But I mean, that was awesome racing right there.
All right, looking ahead, you're going to IRP next. Is that a track you like?
I've actually never raced there, so it'll be fantastic to see how that plays out.
All right, anyone you want to thank?
I'd like to thank Josh Cottle Chassis, and just all the hard work they put in each and every week.
All right, congrats on second place tonight, Tanner Bethea. And we're going to throw it back to Scott, who's caught up with our third place finisher tonight. It'll be William Hale.
William Hale in the 62. You came out of nowhere, man. Went up, qualified pretty darn good. You qualified up in 12th, but you had some great practice speed, but you really showed excellent patience and great race pace. Talk to me about that. I think one of your biggest moments was the battle with the 20 of Tanner Bethea. Talk to me about racing around him and how you were feeling.
Racing with Tanner's fun. He's gotten to be a good racer to race with, and yeah, it's fun to race with that kid. He's gotten a lot better in the past few months, even. So, so shout out to him. He's gotten. I can stick pieces of paper between us now, and we can race really good. Yeah. Kind of was shooting for the invert in qualifying. Went really big on the invert and kind of missed it by a bunch. So that is what it is. Yeah, coming through the field, we had a really good race pace. Kind of jacked up on one of the restarts, and the car wasn't exactly the same the rest of the night. So just couldn't get the rear end back in the racetrack the rest of the night after that. So it is what it is. Yeah, it was really good racing, top to bottom throughout the field, I thought.
William, I gotta ask, are you perchance related to Jay Sale? I gotta know.
Not at all.
You're
not that I'm aware
really?
of anyway. Not that I'm aware of. I mean, I don't think so.
Well, I just had to wonder
I
because
get a lot.
he's raced with us here a lot in MRL. So I just had to know. You obviously did really well for yourself tonight with a third place. What are you thinking about for the next race at IRP?
We're just gonna do the best we can. We're gonna show up, and I don't know if we're going to IRP. I don't know. Maybe I'll be back by the end of kind of a schedule constraint on that one. But if we're gonna go to IRP, we're just gonna try to do the same thing we did this week. Try to shoot for the invert, and if we miss it, drive back up to the field. Hopefully, start closer to the front next time. I don't like using tires that much. Just basically the same game plan. Game plan doesn't change week to week. You're just going to put the best product you can out every week and go put on the best show for everybody watching possible.
Anyone you'd like to thank tonight?
You got to thank everybody. You got to thank my girlfriend for letting me have my Sundays off to race. You got to thank the RKM Setup Shop, the Bald Bandits, everybody at Daytona One, Pro Systems, everybody that helps on the real world side of things. Yeah, so that's everybody, man. Thank you guys for doing this tonight. Thanks, Kyle, for putting this on. It's been a great show. Really like working with Kyle and those guys at MRL. Thank you guys at VSPEED for knocking this out and making it a professional atmosphere. So thank you guys.
Well, congratulations to William Hale, a third place on the evening. Thank you, William. And we'll get on to the next one. And we are so excited to continue on with this series, me, Sky, and Morgan. We always get to have fun calling stuff for the Misfit Racing League. But Sky, I thought we had such a great race here this evening. I want your thoughts on it.
Oh, it was a great one for sure. We had some late race drama there to really shake it up. A lot of great action all through the midfield. There were drivers working really hard for it all night. It was a great race.
So our next race, like we said, it is going to be at IRP. And that's a track that I have actually never gotten to call races at either, Sky. So I'm not quite sure what to expect. And I don't think the two drivers that we got to talk to about, I don't think they quite knew what to expect. Have you got any experience over there?
I've raced there. I haven't commentated there, but I can tell you it races pretty much unlike any other short track on iRacing. It's a very unique track, and I think you'll see that when we go there. We're going to see some different lines being used because at least in some of the NASCAR cars that run there, the high line tends to be the fastest.
So some unknowns as we head into that second race on June 22nd. Again, this on a Sunday night. It will be on VSPEED. We know some of you were joining us from Misfit Productions tonight. We thank you for moving over. We'll have that issue fixed. We'll be back on the main VSPEED channel for that next race on June 22nd. Until then, check out any of our other races on VSPEED. Thank you for watching here this evening, viewers. We thank everyone with Kyle Adams and Jake Sylvia at Misfit Productions, and everyone here that helps get the job done. Morgan Cook in production. For my colleague in this booth, Sky Shrek, my name is Scott Shive, and we'll see you next time.
time. He'll take a peek to the inside. Slide him high off the corner.
Here's contact there in turn 1 and 2. Oh my goodness, Hatzler has it out front. They bang doors.
But Jonathan Parker, he locks it up at the end of stage 1. Jonathan Parker, our season 5 champion. Bryce Shoemaker is going to take the victory 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win. Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.